Why do people want to escape North Korea? The reasons are as harrowing as the methods they use to flee. Imagine living in a country where your every move is watched, your every word scrutinized. A place where even whispering dissent can land you and your family in a labor camp. That's the reality for millions in North Korea. Now, you might think, it can't be that bad, can it? Oh, it can. Trust me, it can. And it is for that very reason that some North Koreans are willing to risk everything for a shot at freedom. Today we're diving into the top 10 craziest ways people escape North Korea. You won't believe some of these. From daring escapes across frozen rivers to elaborate schemes involving fake identities and even cargo containers, these stories are a testament to the human desire for freedom, no matter the cost. So buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through some of the most audacious escapes from the Hermit Kingdom. You might want to grab a snack, maybe a stress ball, because some of these stories will leave you on the edge of your seat. Our first escape route takes us to the icy border between North Korea and China, the Yalu River. Now, this isn't your leisurely afternoon fishing trip. In the dead of winter, when the river freezes over, it becomes a perilous escape route for desperate North Koreans. Imagine this, it's the middle of the night, the temperature is well below freezing, and you're trudging across a frozen river, the ice groaning beneath your feet. Oh, and did I mention the armed border guards with shoot-to-kill orders? That's right, folks. One wrong step, one crack in the ice, and you're either taking an unwanted swim in sub-zero temperatures or staring down the barrel of a gun. It's basically a real-life game of the floor is lava, except the lava is hypothermia and bullets. And if the bone-chilling cold and the constant threat of being shot weren't enough, you also have to contend with the sheer physical exhaustion. We're talking miles of treacherous terrain, often with nothing but the clothes on your back and the hope of freedom spurring you forward. Now you might be thinking, why risk it? Why not just stay put? Well, for many North Koreans, staying put isn't an option. It's either escape or face unimaginable hardship, starvation, or even worse. So they brave the frozen Yalu River, clinging to the hope of reaching the relative safety of China. It's a gamble, a roll of the dice with life or death stakes. And let's be clear, not everyone makes it. The river is littered with the stories of those who didn't. Their dreams of freedom extinguished beneath the ice. It's a sobering reminder of the human cost of oppression and the lengths to which people will go to escape it. But for those who do survive the crossing, it's just the beginning of their journey. They face an uncertain future, often living in hiding, constantly looking over their shoulder, hoping against hope that they won't be sent back. Alright folks, let's move on to escape method number 2, which involves a healthy dose of ingenuity, desperation, and, dare I say, a touch of madness. I'm talking about homemade rafts. Yes, you heard me correctly. Some North Koreans, desperate to escape the clutches of the regime, resort to building their own vessels and setting sail for freedom. Now, I'm not talking about sleek yachts or even sturdy fishing boats here. We're talking about rickety contraptions cobbled together from whatever scrap materials they can scrounge up. Old barrels, pieces of wood, maybe some duct tape if they're lucky. It's basically the maritime equivalent of holding your breath and hoping for the best. Now, if you're thinking, that sounds incredibly dangerous, well, you'd be right. The Yellow Sea, which separates North Korea from South Korea, is known for its strong currents, unpredictable weather, and, oh yeah, the occasional patrol boat on the lookout for, well, people like our intrepid rafters. Imagine this. You're bobbing along on this makeshift raft, the waves crashing around you, the salt spray stinging your face. You're cramped, you're hungry, you're probably seasick, and you have absolutely no guarantee that you'll reach your destination, or that your little DIY vessel won't fall apart beneath you. And if the elements weren't challenging enough, there's the constant fear of being caught. North Korean patrol boats are notoriously vigilant, and being caught at sea usually means a one-way ticket back to a place you'd rather not be. But despite the risks, the lack of any semblance of seaworthiness, and the fact that this whole endeavor sounds like the plot of a darkly comedic film, people still attempt it, because for them, the alternative remaining trapped in North Korea is simply unbearable. It's a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure even the most harrowing of circumstances, all for the slimmest chance at a better life. It also makes you appreciate that little inflatable raft you use to lazily float around in your pool. You know, the one with the built-in cup holders? Yeah, those are pretty great. Alright, escaping North Korea. Not exactly a walk in the park, is it? It's more like navigating a minefield, while blindfolded, and riding a unicycle. So some folks get a bit creative. Enter escape method number 3. Posing as Chinese nationals to board international flights. Because nothing says subtle escape like a bit of light identity theft. Now, this isn't just about slapping on a fake mustache and speaking in a dodgy accent. We're talking forged documents, memorized backstories, and a truly impressive ability to not break character, even when your boarding pass sets off a metal detector. Imagine the pressure. One slip-up, one mispronounced phrase, and it's straight back to mandatory cabbage surprise for dinner. And trust me, you do want to know what's in that surprise. Seriously, these folks deserve Oscars for their performances. They're basically method acting their way to freedom, risking everything on the hope that some sleep-deprived airport official just wants to go home and forget about that suspicious smell coming from the Cinnabon. And the most surprising part? It actually works. Well, sometimes. Look, let's be honest. The success rate for this one is probably about as high as the approval rating for a North Korean dictator who enjoys long walks on the beach and experimenting with new hairstyles. But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, and when your other options are swim through a minefield or bribe a guard with a year's supply of ramen noodles, sometimes a little light forgery is the most appealing choice. Pulling off this elaborate charade doesn't come cheap. We're not talking about slipping someone a 20. This is black market passport territory, thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. And where does one find a forger? Classified section in the Pyongyang Times? Slightly used passport, barely smuggled. No lowballers, I know what I have. It's enough to make your head spin. Even with all that, there's no guarantee. You're still relying on luck. Posing as a Chinese national to escape. It's audacious, risky, and stressful, but for some, it's the only shot. Incredibly brave and deeply depressing. Now I know what you're thinking, John. Surely there's a more comfortable way to escape a brutal dictatorship than cramming yourself into a metal box? You'd think so, wouldn't you? But logic rarely applies in North Korean defection. So buckle up, buttercups, for escape method number 4, smuggling yourself in a cargo container. Imagine the joys of international travel, the fear of being discovered and sent back. It's the stuff of nightmares. Or, a Tuesday if you're attempting this escape route. Cargo containers weren't designed with human comfort in mind. They're dark, cramped, and poorly ventilated. Oh, and did I mention the lack of toilets? Because there are definitely no toilets, just you, your thoughts, and the faint aroma of questionable goods. But hey, at least you don't have to worry about legroom or crying babies. And if you're lucky, you might get a glimpse of the outside world. Just try not to think about being a human Tetris piece shuffled across continents. Of course, all of this assumes that you even the journey. Because let's be real, folks, we're talking about spending days, possibly even weeks, trapped inside a metal box with limited air, food, and water. It's basically a real-life game of Oregon Trail, except instead of dysentery, you have to worry about suffocation, dehydration, and the ever-present threat of being discovered by a particularly observant dock worker. And even if you manage to avoid all of those pitfalls, there's still the small matter of actually getting of the container once you reach your destination. Because let's be honest, bursting out of a shipping container on a busy dock screaming, "Freedom, I'm free," is probably not the best way to blend in and avoid unwanted attention. So, yeah, not exactly the most glamorous way to escape, is it? But then again, when your options are limited to risking your life in a shipping container or living under a repressive regime, sometimes you just have to hold your breath, cross your fingers, and hope for the best. Alright folks, we've talked about fake passports, we've discussed the joys of transcontinental shipping containers, but now it's time to address the elephant in the room. The heavily guarded, mine-laden strip of land that divides the Korean peninsula, the DMZ. Yes, you heard that right. Some people, in their desperate quest for freedom, attempt to cross the demilitarized zone, which, let's be honest, is about as demilitarized as a bouncy castle filled with rabid badgers. This isn't your average border crossing, folks. We're not talking about flashing a passport and hoping the customs agent is in a good mood. This is the DMZ, a place so tense, so fraught with danger that even the birds fly in formation, terrified of accidentally triggering an international incident. We're talking barbed wire fences, guard towers, and enough landmines to make a game of Minesweeper look like a relaxing afternoon activity. And yet, despite all of this, some people still attempt to make the crossing. Why? Because when your other options are live under a brutal dictatorship or starve to death in a shipping container, sometimes risking life and limb in the world's most fortified border zone starts to sound reasonable, or at least marginally less insane than the alternatives. But let's be clear, attempting to cross the DMZ is not an act of bravery. It's a testament to the sheer desperation that drives people to risk everything for a chance at a better life. It's a stark reminder that freedom for some is not a given, but a prize so precious, so desperately sought after, that they're willing to face unimaginable dangers to obtain it. Alright folks, we've talked about fake passports, we've discussed the joys of transcontinental shipping containers, but now it's time to address the elephant in the room. The heavily guarded, mine-laden strip of land that divides the Korean peninsula, the DMZ. Yes, you heard that right. Some people, in their desperate quest for freedom, attempt to cross the demilitarized zone, which, let's be honest, is about as demilitarized as a bouncy castle filled with rabid badgers. This isn't your average border crossing, folks. This is the DMZ, a place so tense, so fraught with danger, that even the birds fly in formation, terrified of accidentally triggering an international incident. We're talking barbed wire fences, guard towers, and enough landmines to make a game of Minesweeper look like a relaxing afternoon activity. And yet, despite all of this, some people still attempt to make the crossing. Why? Because when your other options are live under a brutal dictatorship or starve to death in a shipping container, sometimes risking life and limb in the world's most fortified border zone starts to sound reasonable, or at least marginally less insane than the alternatives. But let's be clear, attempting to cross the DMZ is not an act of bravery. It's a testament to the sheer desperation that drives people to risk everything for a chance at a better life. It's a stark reminder that freedom, for some, is not a given, but a prize so precious, so desperately sought after, that they're willing to face unimaginable dangers to obtain it. So, what does it actually take to attempt such a crossing? Well, for starters, a healthy dose of insanity. And perhaps a pair of those shoes that let you run really fast, because you're going to need them. We're talking about sprinting across open ground, under the watchful eyes of trigger-happy guards, with the very real possibility that one wrong step could be your last. Imagine, if you will, the following scenario. You're crouched in a ditch, heart pounding like a jackhammer, the air thick with tension and the lingering scent of fear. You take a deep breath, say a silent prayer to whatever deity you believe in, and then you run. You run like the hounds of hell are on your tail, dodging bullets, leaping over barbed wire, praying that you don't trip over a stray landmine and end up as an impromptu fireworks display. And if, by some miracle, you manage to survive the initial dash, you're still not out of the woods, because now you have to contend with the elements, the terrain, and the very real possibility that you're being pursued by soldiers who are really, really good at their jobs. It's basically like trying to win a marathon that's also a game of hide and seek, except the losers don't get a participation trophy, they get sent to a re-education camp. So yeah, crossing the DMZ, not exactly a walk in the park, more like a sprint through a minefield while dodging bullets and trying not to have a panic attack. But hey, at least it's memorable, right? So, what does it actually take to attempt such a crossing? Well, for starters, a healthy dose of insanity, and perhaps a pair of those shoes that let you run really fast because you're gonna need them. We're talking about sprinting across open ground under the watchful eyes of trigger-happy guards, with the very real possibility that one wrong step could be your last. You run like the hounds of hell are on your tail, dodging bullets, leaping over barbed wire, praying that you don't trip over a stray landmine and end up as an impromptu fireworks display. So yeah, crossing the DMZ, more like a sprint through a minefield while dodging bullets and trying not to have a panic attack. So you've made it out of North Korea, congratulations. I bet you're thinking, things can't get any worse, right? Well, buckle up, because now you're facing the Gobi Desert. That's right, miles upon miles of scorching sand, baking under the relentless sun. It's basically the Sahara Desert's slightly less famous but equally unforgiving cousin. You know, the one who shows up unannounced, drinks all your beer, and leaves you with a nasty sunburn. And did I mention the lack of readily available water? Because trekking through this barren wasteland is just a casual stroll in the park, compared to, say, I don't know, having access to basic necessities like, oh, I don't know, water. It's enough to make you miss the heartwarming comforts of, well, not being in the Gobi Desert. But hey, at least there are no border guards, right? Just scorching heat, dehydration, and the occasional venomous snake. You know, the circle of life. And speaking of the circle of life, let's talk about what happens if you actually make it out alive. You see, reaching Mongolia doesn't exactly mean you're home free. It's more like a layover in a slightly less restrictive airport terminal. You're still very much in a precarious position. Mongolian authorities have been known to send North Korean defectors back, which, let's be honest, is about as helpful as a screen door on a submarine. So the journey doesn't end there. It's a whole other odyssey to then get from Mongolia to, say, the welcoming embrace of the South Korean embassy. It's like trying to find a decent sandwich in an airport. Theoretically possible, but fraught with logistical nightmares. And all this after you've braved the Gobi Desert. Honestly, after all that, they should just give you automatic South Korean citizenship, a lifetime supply of kimchi, and maybe a pony. Just a thought. Look, we all know money talks. It's how I convince HBO to keep giving me a show despite my blatant disregard for journalistic impartiality. But in North Korea, money doesn't just talk. It sings opera, performs interpretive dance, and bakes a mean batch of metaphorical freedom cookies. We're talking about bribes, people, cold, hard cash, or in this case, precious metals and foreign currency. Because apparently, even in the Hermit Kingdom, everyone has a price. And when your life depends on it, you'd be surprised how much gold you're willing to part with. It's like a twisted game of Monopoly, where Boardwalk and Park Place have been replaced with safe passage to China and a new identity that doesn't involve forced labor. And let me tell you, the stakes are way higher than losing all your fake money to your smug little sibling. But here's the catch. You need to find someone corrupt enough to take the bribe, but not so corrupt that they'll just take your money and run. It's like trying to find a unicorn who's also a licensed therapist, a rare and delicate balance. Now let's talk about the price tag on this little escape plan. We're not talking about a couple of crumpled bills slipped under the table. This is serious cash money. Think more along the lines of family heirlooms, life savings, and that suspiciously large inheritance from your estranged third cousin twice removed. And even if you manage to scrape together a small fortune, there's no guarantee of success. You're essentially putting your faith, your life, and your entire financial future in the hands of someone who, let's be honest, is probably not known for their moral integrity. It's a high-risk, high-reward gamble, like playing Russian roulette with a fully loaded revolver. That also happens to be filled with diamonds. Because if you get caught, well, let's just say the consequences make a stern talking to from your local HOA seem like a walk in the park. But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? And when freedom is on the line, sometimes you gotta play the hand you're dealt, even if that hand is a fistful of $100 bills and a prayer. International travel. The thrill of experiencing new cultures, the joy of trying exotic cuisines, the sheer terror of realizing you left your phone charger at home. But for a select few North Koreans, it represents something far more significant. A one-way ticket to freedom. We're talking about those daring souls who, while on official trips abroad, decide to just, not go back. They pull off the ultimate disappearing act, leaving behind their former lives and becoming international mysteries wrapped in enigmas, seasoned with a dash of geopolitical intrigue. Imagine the scene. You're on a government-sanctioned trip to, say, a badminton tournament in Malaysia. You're surrounded by minders, your every move is watched, and you're pretty sure your shoelaces are bugged. But then, in a moment of pure audacity, you slip away. Maybe you duck into a bathroom, ditch your North Korean tracksuit, and emerge disguised as a harmless tourist with an unquenchable thirst for duty-free souvenirs. Or perhaps you befriend a group of overly enthusiastic K-pop fans and convince them you're the long-lost fifth member of BTS. Now you might be thinking, John, this all sounds a bit far-fetched, even for you. And to that I say, fair point. But truth, as they say, is often stranger than a North Korean propaganda film about a talking dolphin who solves crimes. These escapes are rare, meticulously planned, and require a level of cunning usually reserved for heist movies starring George Clooney and a bunch of other guys with questionable facial hair. Because let's not forget, these defectors aren't just leaving behind a country. They're leaving behind families, friends, and the only life they've ever known. It's a decision fraught with risk, uncertainty, and the nagging suspicion that maybe, just maybe, you should have packed that phone charger after all. But for those who choose this path, the allure of freedom, of self-determination, of finally getting to choose your own destiny, is simply too powerful to resist. It's a gamble, a leap of faith, a shot at a life free from the constraints of a regime that, let's be honest, makes Big Brother look like a casual acquaintance who occasionally borrows your lawnmower. And in a world where freedom is often taken for granted, it's a stark reminder of the extraordinary lengths some people will go to simply live a life of their own choosing. Strap on your imaginary water wings, folks. We're diving into some seriously cold waters. Escaping North Korea by swimming across the Tumen River into China is treacherous. It's like swimming the English Channel, but with North Korean border guards. The Tumen River is not a relaxing, lazy river. It's cold and fast-flowing, especially in winter. Imagine jumping into a bathtub filled with ice cubes and angry currents. And if hypothermia doesn't get you, the border guards will. Then you have to worry about the Chinese authorities. They're not known for welcoming North Korean defectors. Swimming the Tumen River is like a deadly game of international hopscotch. But hey, at least it's good exercise, right? All that swimming is bound to work up an appetite. Just try not to think about your next meal being in a Chinese detention center. Now, you might be thinking, John, surely there must be an easier way to cross a river than risking life and limb in freezing water while being shot at. This is North Korea we're talking about, where the only thing flowing more freely than the rivers is the propaganda. Stories of those who have attempted this perilous swim are the stuff of nightmares. Imagine being swept downstream by the unforgiving current, your muscles cramping from the cold, the sound of gunshots echoing in the distance. It's enough to make you want to invest in a good wetsuit and a one-way ticket to literally anywhere else. But amidst the fear and danger, there are also tales of incredible resilience and courage, people risking everything for a shot at freedom, their determination fueled by a desperate hope for a better life. It's a stark reminder that while we may complain about our daily commutes, there are people out there facing unimaginable challenges just for the chance to live a life free from oppression. So, the next time you find yourself complaining about a bit of rain or a crowded train, spare a thought for those who brave the icy currents of the Tumen River, their eyes fixed on the distant shore of freedom. It's a journey that most of us can't even begin to fathom, a testament to the extraordinary lengths people will go to for a chance at a better life. Let's talk about escape routes, and no, not from your in-laws' fruitcake making party. North Koreans escape through tunnels and secret networks. It's like a real-life spy thriller with existential dread. For some, it was the only option. Elaborate networks dug with makeshift tools. One wrong move could mean discovery. These tunnels were lifelines offering hope, ordinary people driven by a desire for freedom, willing to risk everything for a chance at a better life. But digging tunnels wasn't the only way out. Some North Koreans found their escape through secret border networks, aided by a shadowy network of activists and smugglers operating within and outside the country. Picture this: a clandestine meeting in a darkened alleyway, code words whispered between strangers, a knapsack full of hopes and dreams changing hands. It's like something out of a John le Carré novel, only with higher stakes and fewer tailored suits. These networks often relied on the kindness of strangers, ordinary people who risked their own lives to help others find freedom. These were the unsung heroes of the resistance, the conductors on a modern-day underground railroad, ferrying desperate souls from the darkness of tyranny to the light of liberty. Imagine the bravery it took to trust your life to a complete stranger, to follow them into the unknown, with only the faintest hope of reaching the other side. It's a testament to the indomitable human spirit, the unwavering belief in a brighter future, even when surrounded by darkness. And while the stories of these daring escapes are often shrouded in secrecy, they serve as a powerful reminder that even in the most oppressive regimes, hope has a way of finding a way out, often through the most unexpected of channels. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering belief in a brighter future, even when surrounded by darkness. Well, folks, there you have it. The top 10 craziest ways people have escaped North Korea. From freezing rivers to underground tunnels, these stories are a testament to the extraordinary lengths people will go to for a taste of that sweet, sweet freedom. It's enough to make you want to hug the next border patrol officer you see, but maybe check their stance on defectors first. These stories are a testament to the human spirit, to the unyielding desire for a life free from oppression, a life where you can choose your own destiny, even if it means risking everything for a chance to grab it. And remember, if you ever think your commute is tough, just be glad you're not dodging landmines or floating on a homemade raft to work. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories. And the next time you feel a bit down about your own life, remember the courage and resilience of those who escaped North Korea. It's a powerful reminder that, even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can overcome even the most daunting obstacles.